bench. Ronda Ulio in the foreground. And we're underway. Good bounce too. Ruckman go at it. Wren was taken high. He'll get the first free kick. Right in the centre circle. Sean Wren. Up and firing so far this season. Prods it down towards half forward. Kicking for space. Loose ball. Hand pass comes out towards Rashuda. Knocks it forward. Down goes Tregenza. On top of him, McKay. And we'll have a ball up about 45 metres out from the Crows' attacking goal. Bickley won the toss, and the Crows running left to right.
Manton on Jarman.
There's the bounce. Wren props in front. Allen over the top. They knocked it away. McKay dragged down, trying to crash his way through Sexton. Rintoul got it out to Stevens, up to Tregenza, but a throw is called. Free kick to the Blues.
So Carlton with possession of the football through Michael Sexton, away to Camporelli. Camporelli across the wing, position made nicely by Hamill, and he's marked at left half forward. Not quite up to that area. His kick will land in front of the goal. Silvani, good contesting work, trying to swoop on the ball. Now Charles has got a chance. It actually was Murphy. Back to Hogg. Hogg snapshot for goal. The first score to Carlton, a behind kick by Matthew Hogg.
So Carlton have structure up in their back line with Peter Dean and Michael Sexton taking the two key defensive posts, and the players selected in those, Silvani and Whitnell, both in the forward line.
McLeod in the back pocket. A star in the grand final, of course. 31 possessions. He drives it towards the outer side. Ellen from behind fisting away. Down in front. Ratton to Murphy. Props nicely. Feeds it back to Ratton. 45 metres out. Goes for home. Wide of the mark. Another behind.
You know, it's interesting with the introduction of that new stand down that end of the ground. You see quite a lot of players missing goals that they normally kick. It must be just a little bit disconcerting as far as the breeze now, the way it blows down that end of the ground. Mark Bickley did win the toss and seemed to have no hesitation kicking to the Robert Heatley stand end of the ground. The kick in there done by Bassett. Good kick outside 50. Allen tackled by Whitnell. Tregenza, Costa. Good combination here by the Crows. Smart on the end of that succession of hand passes towards half forward. Manton couldn't take the mark. Little kick forward there by Stevens. Piccioni taken down. Sampson's kicked the goal. Clay Sampson off the ground, a goal to the Crows.
Well, that was a clever one. He had to go wide of the players on the deck.
There was a real bit of skill involved in that, and there was also some good work up earlier. I think Jarman was unlucky, I should say, not to pick up the free kick, because I don't think he had clear possession of the ball there. But Manton, he's very much committed to Jarman here this afternoon. But the loose ball, Sampson very, very clever, just curling it around there on the left foot.
Crows in front. Play restarts. The margin is 4 points. Hogg knocked it away only as far as Tregenza. Tregenza down towards half forward then for the Crows. Jarman was up, fingertips to it. McKay slaps it wide. Piccioni now inside the 50, pulls it back across the body. It floats down towards full forward. Almost a clever mark to Dean. He plays it pretty well, Peter Dean, paddling it towards the boundary line.
Free kick paid,
McKay.
I think paid for Peter Dean's arm being held in that mark. It looked as though his arm was being restrained. So,
and I reckon we saw 15 years worth of experience there, Johnny, because I reckon Peter Dean was doing the holding, reaching back.
You back pocket blokes are all the same. Recently
turned 34, Dean. Sampson, who got the last goal, the only goal, pulls it back towards the middle. Piccioni, metres in the clear.
Look, this is a very impressive young footballer. In the under-18 championships there last year, he was clearly one of the out-and-out players there, playing off half-back flank or in the centre. And then at club level here in the VSFL with the Western Jets, he's a young man who really knows football and will be very, very dangerous across this half-forward line with the Crows.
Lance Piccioni from about 25 metres out, almost directly in front. Pops it through. Crows get their second.
So he adds his name to that long list of players who, with their first kick in AFL football, scores a goal.
Did he get a little foot to it when Dean Rice tackled him in the goal square a few seconds ago? Maybe
Let's not count it. Let's not count it, because I think that's
No,
a great start for anybody.
Of course it is.
Well done. He's really settled into it well. He's going, there is Dean Rice's opponent. Choney's really going to have some quick legs for Dean Rice, and Dean's going to have to really work upon his own experience in this matchup.
Well, the first 2 goals coming through Piccioni and Sampson for the Crows, and they're getting the ball away from the centre. The Blues had a chance there. Matthew Hogg got his first hand to it, but beaten for it at the second attempt by Costa, forces a ball up.
Yeah, that's a good matchup, those two, isn't it? Hogg and Costa.
Yes.
They're racking up tackles there for the day, I'm sure.
Be a fair go at each other. Trying to get through is Ratton. Just a hack out of there by Ormond Allen. Now Bradley. Sampson right onto him. Murphy back in the direction of Bradley. Kutafides there. Good hand pass. Murphy not quite able to control it. Taken out of it in the finish there by Bickley. Boundary throw in.
Robert, just the matchup of Clay Sampson against Craig Bradley. Bradley has only really played maybe 3/4 of the last week in the preparation for this season. And I'm sure Malcolm Blight sent Sampson out with the instructions to really run him around and take him on, particularly in the forward half for the Crows. And Sampson has goal as a result of that.
Chance here for Tregenza. Eventually got use of the football. Now Stevens. Snapshot by Mark Stevens. Misses everything out of bounds in the left forward pocket for Adelaide.
Well, they've settled down now, the Crows, haven't they? Just a couple of opening minutes. It was Carlton going left of screen in control of the ball. But now the Crows have settled very well. And not through long use of the ball, but generally through run of the ball, getting it into their forward line.
Wren is back on the wing. Stevens doing the rucking, but beaten by Sexton. Taken high was Camporelli. Plays on. This is Ratton, 26 years of age. Best and fairest last season. Boots it out towards the wing. Whitnell tracks it towards the boundary, and across it goes. The Crows lead it by 10 points.
Being manned up at the moment by Allen, the much publicised goal kicker from the grand final last year.
Good tag to carry through life, that one, isn't it?
My word.
Just a lazy 5. Tossed in. Wren, beautifully done. Down to Tregenza, who's been busy. Towards half forward, Piccioni, ridden into the ground. No free kick, picked up by McKay. Gets it across to Sexton on the burst. Sexton probing kick towards half forward. Off hands Ellen. Arches the back, slips through, across half back, kicks it out towards the wing. It's a floater. Ormond Allen in front. Kutafides, brilliantly done.
Kutafides in towards the centre. Bit risky, but it does come off. This is Matthew Allen. A long kick by Matty Allen to full forward. Might bounce through for score. It's in the square. It's helped through by the Crows' defence. Maybe Peter Caven there playing his 100th game of AFL football, knocking it over for a rush behind to the Blues.
I think it was a good kick in towards Matthew Allen, because, I mean, it was risky. He might have missed it, but in order to get it, Wren had already dropped back and was caught in no man's land. So Allen's long kick into the forward line was always going to give Silvani a chance.
Oh, well done by Murphy. Just actually took the ball away from Ormond Allen then. It looked a very big chance for the Crows to go up to their forward 50, but Murphy intercepting his 50th game. Good effort on that occasion. Kutafides doing the ruck work, but close to the line. Ratton still there, still in play. Kutafides, Ratton now in towards the centre. Marking contest, no contest. Wren, too strong, got the front posse and held the mark quite safely. Handball away to Allen.
Good
then
work,
affected
Wren.
to Shepherd on Whitnell. The kick to half forward. Gathered there was by Ben Hart to Piccioni. His short kick has been marked by Costa. Costa's only 25 metres out. The angle is his greatest concern. You can see there what is confronting Kim Costa.
And Robbo back in the centre of the ground. There's 4 or 5 Crows. They've all run to Sean Wren to congratulate him on that Shepherd. He really set it up then.
Costa goes for the Crows' 3rd goal. It looks okay. It is a goal. Costa won, Piccioni won, Sampson won. On the other side of the ledger, the Blues yet to goal.
Well, the Shepherd back there from Sean Wren, it gives you a tingle when the big man on the ground is taking control of things. Took the mark, got well off the mark, handball to Shane Allen, then immediately stood in front of the Carlton player, created the block, and then the goal results from Costa.
Crows getting a flying start. They led it by 15 points. Looking back to last season, Carlton were the best in the league at getting the quick start. They led their games at quarter time in 14 of 22. Hamill was taken high, no free kick. Ratton gets it across to Allen, off his step. Costa busy early, breaks away. He can run to the 50. Now he elects to kick down towards full forward. Too much carry intended for Rashudo. Reaching over the top, it's Manton. Comes wide, Koutoufides. Well done for staying off the ball a pace or two, and then at the last moment taking the ball on his chest. Goes to Allen. Nobody standing the mark. Go for a gallop, big fella. Allen trying to pinpoint the ball, succeeds only in putting it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Smart. He who hesitates is lost.
Yes, well, isn't that proven time and time again? Nigel Smart with the footy, approaching 150 games.
That's not an original, Robbo, incidentally.
Fair enough, Dennis. Wren takes the short kick. Still in their defensive half.
And that's what caused Matthew Allen to hesitate. Wren was controlling half back, and he was looking for a better option when he kicked and couldn't find it.
Good kick by Wren, covers 50 metres plus. Hand pass came out from Costa to Ormond Allen. He's dumped there by Silvani. The ball up towards full forward. Rice got to get rid of it. He does, but he's going to put Camporelli under pressure. Tregenza, in goes Camporelli, in goes Piccioni. Piccioni does well to help out, and then steadily just gets the ball and kicks it into the pocket. The mark is taken down here by Rintoul, but was it over? No. The mark has been awarded to Rintoul in the left forward pocket for the Crows. Very close and a very difficult angle confronting this player.
You can imagine those supporters in Adelaide looking at Lance Piccioni. They'd be rubbing their hands at this stage.
Just the poise showing there. Just he knew what was going on around him. Total control.
Rintoul goes for goal. He's kicked across the face and has scored just a behind.
So Piccioni with 4 kicks already in the early part of this game, and they've been really displaying a touch of class in everything he's done to date.
Short one in, finds Bradley, who polled 5 Brownlow votes in the 2 games against the Crows last season. It was exceptional. 25 kicks, 8 hand passes, and 32 kicks and 8 hand passes. I look up from reading that and find Adelaide with the ball. What the heck happened is it's popped in from Bickley, and Rashudo's got it.
It's all about fumbling.
A muffed hand pass, I would imagine, without seeing.
Well, Matthew Hogg was the target from Bradley. He missed the ball, and then when he went back after it, good pressure provided by Sampson. Great bump by Jarman on Camporelli.
So Mark Rashudo, 4th in the Brownlow last season, will kick from about 45. Beautiful effort, marvellous kick, goal.
Well, they've really jumped out very, very well. They're controlling the game here at this particular stage. We've mentioned Wren, but this man here, Mark Rashudo, I mean, what a great addition to the premiership squad. He is groin problems late in the year, but Dennis also just mentioned, you know, finishing so very high in the Brownlow medal and the best and fairest. A great player to be coming back into the side.
So the coaching staff for the Crows, led by Malcolm Blight, would be reasonably satisfied, you would think, from this start. 4-1 to 3 behinds. Allen to Ratton, then to Bradley. Well tackled by McLeod. The ball spills. It's nearly up to centre half forward for the Blues. Hamill, still Charles to get into it. Crashing his way through was Hume. Now the Crows are lovely.
Yeah.
How did he squeeze that kick out of there?
That's
Gee
incredible.
whiz, Allen was the recipient of it. Down to Rice where he's marked. Who kicked it out? Was it Jarman?
Yeah.
There was no room. McKay across the line, and Matthew Allen has marked Tregenza, minding that mark. Allen to go long, hooks the kick a little, out towards the half-forward area, gathered by Charles. He can't break the tackle. Gee, they're ganging in beautifully, the Crows. Tackle too high, Camporelli maybe on Bassett.
Yeah, Camporelli just bumped him in the head, Robbo.
Is it Bassett to take the free kick? It is. No, it's not. It's Shane Allen, and he's right on his defensive 50-metre. Out wide towards the wing, brilliantly read there by Rintoul. Rintoul goes in towards full forward. Good stretching mark taken by Manton. Off to Hogg.
Short one, Sexton pops it up towards the wing, and Murphy. Carlton down by 22 points. Murphy as they've done a few times in this term, under no pressure, gives it away. Tregenza quickly across field. The big man, Wren, down towards half forward, hangs in the air. Hogg slipped over. Manton, very good. Tumbling in, takes the mark on his chest.
Well, he's got a very important task today, man. He's picking up the Jarman Rashudo change at half forward for the Crows. And so he's looking to win. The problem that Carlton have here is Sean Wren. He's just controlling across half-back time and time again. Here he goes again.
In from the side, Hamill got hands to it. Bickley soccers it off the ground, down towards half forward. Approaching it hard with a shootout. Tregenza could have been pushed in the back. Was pushed in the back. First in, being rewarded at the present time, John.
Yeah, I think it's good that they're paying those free kicks too, Dennis. Last night we saw a number of times blokes get crunched and nothing paid, but nevertheless a great game of footy, and the crowd seemed to like it, but nevertheless outside the rules.
Short pass by Tregenza is effective, and the mark is taken by Mark Stevens.
Carlton look terrible, don't they?
Yeah. It's an important kick for Mark. And he has shown good form through the pre-season. In the NZ Cup, a couple of bags of 4, and then there's some 3s and 2s in the practice matches. But at Optus Oval, this distance should just about be his.
Well, he's kicking from 50. He gets onto the drop punt, just floats away with the breeze and scores a behind. Mark Stevens, the number 19 Guernsey that was worn by Brett Chalmers. Rice in short, and Koutafidis it is. Koutafidis is still in his defensive 50 and kicks it out wide over the head of Whitnall. Gather for the Blues by Pearce, not able to really get away with the football, and the umpire will call for a bounce.
And David Parkin is really caught here now. Stephen Silvani at full forward, he's down there a long way from the ball. It's not coming to him. Do you bring him up into play? But then I can't really identify a Carlton player who can go down there and score the goals. Whitnall's struggling at this stage. Manton's across half-back. They haven't got much going for them at all.
Pearce kicked it down to half forward. Whitnall got it across to Bradley, to Hume. Kicks down towards the pocket. Silvani, brilliantly done.
Dennis, a little bit of light rain just starting to fall.
Stephen Silvani contorting himself there, controlling it with the one hand.
And that's what he'll give Carlton down there. There's no doubt about that. If they can get the ball to him quickly enough, they've just now got to get it past Wren.
Silvani from 45 bends it around, and I think he's missed. He has. Starting to doubt my eyes there for a minute. The crowd very excited about a behind, but it is round 1. Watch this again.
There's some good strength in this, isn't there? You know, he's working the play. His opponent there, Bassett, out and out, and just a superior reach. A little bit going on there behind with the jumpers and stuff, but intention
Blood
really.
rule. Blood rule.
So it looks like Camporelli coming off through the blood rule as advised by Neil Curley. Curls, how strong is the breeze? Can you detect from where you are?
Yes, it's swirling a lot. It's not consistent from one direction. It seems to be blowing across, you know, into your face, into the TV side here. It doesn't seem to be favouring any end.
Well, this is young Locke coming on for the Blues. His first game as Camporelli being attended to on the bench by the medical staff. Neil, Mark Bickley won the toss, didn't hesitate to kick to that Robert Heatley stand end.
Yeah, possibly the breeze may just be slightly favouring that end, but I wouldn't read a lot into it, Ian.
Okay, fair enough. Ormond Allen has the footy, kicks across the half-back line. Probably not up to that area yet. Bickley will cross it with a lovely long kick in the area of Smart. Gathered by Wren. He's had a lot of touches, Sean Wren. Kicks it high to half-forward. Where are the Crummers? Tregenza out wide to Smart. They are playing very good football at the moment, the Crows. Smart from 50 across the line, and the mark taken by Hart in front of Dean. Ben Hart, the player on the mark, is just inside the 50-metre line. So it'll have to be a 50-metre plus kick to score. Pretty reliable, this young man as a footballer. Gee, that's a good kick, isn't it? That is a beautiful kick. It's another goal to the Crows. So the Blues fans, not much to cheer about. They're in a minority, the Crows fans, but their team have kicked 5-2 to 4 behinds and lead this game by 28 points.
So Ben Hart is lined up at centre-half forward, and what Malcolm Blight's working with there is having Pittman be on the bench, and he will then interchange with Sean Wren towards the end of the quarter. And I think this is good for Ben Hart to get a bit of a looking down at centre-half forward out of the back line for a while.
So Carlton getting a spanking at the present time until Adelaide 5-2 to 4 points. Wren knocks it down. Rashudo taken high off the ball, as you saw. Bickley scrambles it forward. Smart goes over the top. Costa couldn't control it against the flow. This is McKay. Nicely done with a hand pass, ineffective. Hamill a chance to redeem the situation. Well done. Ormond Allen trapped it. Bounces to his feet. Kicks it high down towards centre half forward. Bickley opts out of the contest. Knocked down there by Stevens. Roving the pack, Koutafidis. That's better. Gets it to Allen. Allen into space. Bradley loves the situation. Craig Bradley on the outer side. Rintle missed him. Bradley still going. Then gave it away. Poor hand pass. No Allen. Got in there. Locke gets it across. Whitnell from 65 out. Shocking effort. It bounces down towards the pocket. Great contest. Silvani put the body in. Scrambles after it. Can't get it back. It's out of bounds, but to all intents and purposes, Bassett had the ball. Silvani not prepared to acknowledge that.
And it's that honest endeavour that Stephen Silvani brings into the forward line that I think Malcolm Blight's looking in the inclusion of having Ben Hart in the forward line for the Crows. Hart kicked the last goal, worked very, very hard, just as Silvani does.
Well, the Blues under pressure, but they're going to be kicked forward again by Rice. Hamill, well done by Wren. Eventually helped over for a boundary throw-in. 32 plays for, all single goals to Adelaide. Piccioni, Costa, Sampson, Rashudo and Ben Hart. And as I said, very much dominated by Carlton fans here at Optus Oval. They've had nothing much to cheer about so far. Overrunning it there was Costa, gathered by Ratton, away to Bradley. Bradley skippering the Blues, goes for goal. And the first goal on the scoreboard to Carlton, kicked by Craig Bradley.
Well, the skipper has to stand up sometimes, and Craig Bradley leading the side for, well, in an official sense, I guess, for the first time here today. He has filled in for Stephen Kern at various stages, and a very limited preparation for Craig Bradley as a result of injuries through the pre-season, but he'll be working right to the end without any doubt. A very good use of the left foot there.
Hamill is off. Clappe is on. Running into the forward line without a marker at the present time as Allen goes up to win it down, but Costa grabs it. Sends play towards half-forward, well inside the 50. Hart the leaper, couldn't hang on. Rice and Manton trying to get it out of there. Manton falls on top of it and is penalised for holding it, I think. Whoa.
There is an impossibility about that. The guy on top of him, I know he dragged it in, but does he get any chance to get rid of it? None whatsoever.
No, if he's elected to dive on the ball and he's tackled legally, and we could argue whether that was a legal tackle because it appeared as though they just jumped on, once he's tackled legally, he must immediately hit the ball clear.
What if that's impossible to do that?
Not immediately attempt to hit it clear. He must immediately hit it clear.
Jarman, uncharacteristically, misses to the left.
Now, Robbo,
I'd like to have another look at that. Yeah. And I'd like every one of the human beings that are watching it to tell me how he can possibly... Now, he goes to ground. Yep. He's underneath it. Jarman's over the top of him. He's got his left hand trapping his left arm and the ball. And it was impossible for him to move the ball.
And Jarman's right arm's over his shoulder. So, as I said, we could argue whether it was a legal tackle, but that is the instruction from the rules subcommittee.
Fair enough.
He must immediately hit the ball clear if the tackle is legal. I'd question whether that tackle was legal.
And all the cats and dogs left the room. It's tossed in just outside the 50. Bickley is in there. Down goes Stevens. Ratton, did he get into his back?
Just like that one. Now, that one, in my opinion, was no less legal than the previous one.
But of course, the Carlton fans are screaming, "Why wasn't he penalised?" You know.
That's right. I mean, I know that players have to put pressure on opponents, but to just jump on a guy like that has got to be outside the rules.
Koutafidis knocks it down. Ormond Allen grabs it. And the ball up. Get rid of your frustrations, Robbo. You have a whack at this, all right?
I reckon Robbo should be on the rules subcommittee.
No, all right. Leave me out of that. 5-3 plays 1-4 Adelaide lead. The Blues really struggling to clear that half-back line. And with the football is Cave and tackled by Camporelli. The umpire will bounce.
What we're seeing now, Robbo, is the crowd is expecting holding the ball decisions all the time. So it's created a bit of anxiety, obviously.
It's like we've got our own video, one after the other, isn't it? What's your decision? Tailor-made for you, John.
Oh, I wish.
Wren, Koutafidis, Charles, Allen. Good combination by the Blues. Koutafidis to full forward. Still to be won there. Gathered by Camporelli, not able to break clear. Goodwin was very good at that football then and locked it up for the Crows across half-back.
Crows have been very good defensively. Shane Allen playing in defence with Ben Hart going forward has been good in amongst it. Peter Caven playing his 100th game has been somewhat in control across there as well. And Nigel Smart, definitely a class act there.
Silvani pushed off it. Hume and Silvani fall on it. Another whistle and the ball up. Yeah, great story. Peter Caven, 100th game this afternoon, compiled at 3 clubs. Fitzroy, Sydney, and of course most recently with the Adelaide Crows. Allen hooks it down. Hume's got it. Immediately had company. It spills wide of the pack. Murphy gets it away. Koutafidis about 60 metres from goal. Goes backwards. Clappe lacking support. Socket towards the boundary by Smart. Now a 4-on-1 situation here. McLeod, unaware of the numbers, just throws it on the boot. It wanders down towards the attacking 50. Jarman was up. Kicked Rice on the way through. And it was spotted. Well, I think if you're that in control of your surroundings, you should be allowed to do that.
Kick down towards the wing, punched forward for the Crows. Rashudo's on the end of this. He'll thump it in towards the forward pocket. Perhaps could have done a little better with that kick, although Ben Hart did provide a reasonably good lead, and it's out of bounds in the right forward pocket for Adelaide. They lead 33-10. Ben Hart has been a goal kicker.
Blood rule on Peter Caven, Robbo.
So the 100 gamer to have a spell on the bench.
And Robbo, maybe there's just a little bit of inexperience there from Ben Hart as a full forward. I mean, his role was to lead up the centre of the ground to the true centre-half forward position, and Rashudo crosses in. He was coming straight out and then waving across towards the boundary line, which pushed them in there hard.
Fellas, while you're up there, the cohesion down here and the method among the Carlton boys, they just seem to be lacking direction and purpose. The Crows are far ahead in that department.
I'll tell you what, Curls, is going to be a very important quarter-time break for David Parkin, isn't it?
It certainly is. He's just got to try and get them working together.
Well, we see there, that's obviously Peter Caven being attended to by the medical staff as play goes on. Camporelli tackled there by Edwards.
Silvani's moved on out to centre-half forward, trying to get into the play a little bit more. Whitnell back to full forward, right in the goal square.
The ball about 40 metres from the Crows' goal. They've kicked 5-3. The Blues are 1-4.
Knocked towards the boundary by Carlton. Whitnell, it came back to him, or Sexton rather. His sock is off the ground. Rintoul with the run of it though. Rintoul in short, a couple of Crows there. Pachoni couldn't hang on. Murphy arrives first. Hand passes to Hume. Hume from half back. The Blues could desperately do with another goal as we approach quarter time. Allen, after Clappe couldn't complete the mark. The kick from Allen, very indirect down towards the pocket, and Whitnell can't keep it in, so it'll be thrown in with about 40 seconds to go until quarter time.
So the ruckman to converge on this. It looks as though it might be Whitnell being asked to do the ruck work on the full forward line, up against the more experienced ruckman in Wren. Wren with the height advantage. The ball down in front to Allen.
What an advantage. Sensational.
Allen back to the middle, and Murphy, who's had quite a bit of the football. One kick, his second kick coming up, but he's had 5 hand passes. He's kicked to full forward. No mark taken. The ball spills to the back. Where are the Crummers? Goodwin in a bit of trouble. So is Bassett. The Carlton players appealing for a free kick, but really, gee whiz, that would have been asking for trouble there, I would have thought, by the umpire to give a free kick.
The reason that one's not paid, Robbo, is because he had no chance of getting rid of the ball before the tackle was laid. So it's certainly different from the previous one.
Seconds left and a chance for the Blues to score. Goodwin, Costa, over the top. Crows will get clear. Ormond Allen kicks as the siren sounds. And that is quarter time here at Optus Oval. Adelaide lead by 23 points. They've kicked 5-3. Carlton have kicked 1-4. Political figure here in Victoria unfortunately passed away, and Frank Armstrong, who was a doorman for what seemed an eternity. A play now at left half forward for Adelaide. Sean Charles just kicks the ball in front of himself, and it is over for a boundary throw-in.
So, Robbo, Sean Charles has the job on Lance Piccioni now. On Tregenza, who was very good, and Hogg has Piccioni. And that, I think, just indicates the lack of armoury that David Parkin has to work with. He hasn't got any major moves he can change. The only real influential player on a match that he has in his side is Stephen Silvani. He's left him in the forward line, hoping that they are able to pick up some goals through him.
Gee, even the crowd sound a bit stunned, don't they? There's not much atmosphere here at all, because the Crows have just taken the sails from right under the Blues with an outstanding first term. Tregenza shrugs the tackle, then his kick goes in towards the centre. Ormond Allen, confronted by Koutoufides, couldn't quite get the football out of there, Anthony Koutoufides, and the umpire will ball it up.
Another factor too, it's like mid-June, it's freezing, isn't it? Certainly compared to where I come from.
It was shirt sleeve stuff to start with at about 1 o'clock, but it certainly cooled down, and there has been rain predicted here in Melbourne this afternoon. Murphy's kick towards half forward. Whitnall's a chance, handball over the top. Not all that accurate. Camporelli's under there with Nigel Smart trying to scrounge a free kick, but the umpire having nothing of that, and will ball it up once again.
I think we'll see quite a few players starting to slip over now. A little bit of rain starting to fall.
Crows by 23 points. Wren decisively wide of the pack. Tregenza tries to get it across to support. Well, as it turned out, it was good enough. Rintoul, a little chip for space, and Stevens bounces off his head. Couldn't find it on the second attempt. The hand pass concedes some ground. This is Sampson inside the centre square. Rintoul has run on and has taken a magnificent mark, and that has hurt his back. That really contorted him in a way you're not supposed to go. Only his chiropractor could love that. Watch this again.
Well, this is the sort of thing we've grown used to from the Wayne Careys of the world, but Rintoul, eyes on the ball all the way, pushing back, not knowing what was coming, and you're going into a back line that's got Sexton and Dean and some strong, hard physical players. Did not flinch one moment. A great mark.
Not the most reliable kick, this boy.
Young West Australian, Chad Rintoul, stabs at goal. There you go,
Touch play on
the mark.
It was touched by the player on the mark, so...
You got off on a technicality, Neil.
Oh, yeah. Did he ever?
Manton did well. Arms up, stretching, jumping on the mark.
Do you think he was confused with how far the player on the mark had gone back? Sometimes the players don't watch that. You know, when they've got the kick and they walk back and don't take any notice of that.
I agree with that, Robbo. I think that was the problem.
He was still worried about his vertebrae. There's Murphy, untidy hand pass. Murphy a second opportunity. Charles smothered off the boot. Rashudo goes after it. Socked away by Bradley. Bradley after the ball eagerly now, but he's got plenty of company. Sockers again, and across the line it goes. Nothing decisive happening for Carlton at the present time, and they trail 5-4 to 1-4. Boundary throw in on the wing.
And one of the stats here, Dennis, just at this stage, I mean, we've got Carlton with 36 handballs, the Crows just 15, and I think that's giving indication that Carlton are getting caught up in the middle of the ground, inside the contest, spinning it around, trying to find something, unable to do that, whereas the Crows have been much more direct.
Now that's a kick on the full, but I thought Smart was across the line when his boot made contact with that one.
I thought you were oohing and ahhing maybe about Hamill's confrontation there.
No.
Which is a bit untidy.
There goes the kick from Camporelli, and a great mark is taken down there by Koutoufides.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he can kick the distance. I think we saw, was it Mark Rashudo in the first quarter? Kicked the goal from, he might have been a little closer, but this just breezed, it's not a breeze now, it's more of a strong wind blowing. And Koutoufides does get onto it and does kick it beautifully. Well, very important first goal of the second term to the Blues, kicked by now one of their more senior players, Anthony Koutoufides. They trail by 18 points.
And there's no doubt that David Parkin is looking towards Koutoufides to be a forward player. They've been using him in this position through the pre-season matches. He picked up a broken nose playing it there, but very few goals have come yet from Anthony Koutafidis. This is a very good start in the second quarter.
So Carlton stay in touch. They haven't been playing well, but they're only 18 points behind. They can take some solace from that. Trying to go through down there was Smart. The hand pass came across towards Charles from Hamill. In there was Ratton, gives it back to Charles. Charles floats one towards half forward. Hume, ball pitched behind him. Whitnell knocks it down. Intended, I think, for Murphy. Found it again. Charles has it now. Charles, good passage of play by Sean Charles. Boots it inside the 50. Wren was up. Couldn't hang on. Silvani. Rather untidy hand pass. Camporelli was taken high. No free kick. Koutafidis pushed off the ball. Smart goes in. Koutafidis again. Sidesteps one. A second. Still controls the ball. This could be inspirational. Needs a goal and he's missed. Rotten luck. That was terrific.
Camporelli actually saying that he was hit in the face with an elbow now to umpire Chris Mitchell. Poor old Mitch wasn't in charge at the time, but nevertheless he's copping the flack now. Camporelli now directing his comments to the umpire in charge at the time.
This was a great run. I mean, that's the sort of thing they'll lift. And the crowd now, you can feel the crowd starting to buzz, and they can have an influence on the Carlton players during this period.
Yep. Well, the kick in has been marked by Rashudo. That was a bit risky. Hume just a little late on the scene, but couldn't stop Rashudo from marking. Out wide, Wren, tackled by Charles. Pretty good. Murphy, who's done very well. He's probably been the Blues' best. Whitnell back to Murphy, to young Hume, steadies, gets around. Pot shot for goal is very much offline. Yes, disappointed there. Scores are behind. But still, there's just a little bit of urgency about Carlton's play now as a result of the first goal of the second term. 16 points is the margin. Bassett goes, well, this is just an absolute repeat of the previous kick-in. It was McLeod to Rashudo and then in towards Smart, who's marked on his chest.
Just forward of the wing now, Nigel Smart. Pops it over the top. Rashudo's run on. And he marks about 15 metres closer to goal. Mark Rashudo down towards half forward now. The margin back to 16 points. Dogged start by the Blues to the second term. And Anthony Koutafidis right in the mix. Here's Bickley from about 60 metres, unloading down towards full forward. Off hands in front. Here's an opportunity for Jarman. Jarman feeds it back towards the half forward flank position. Tracking it now is Stevens. Right on the 50, pulls it back towards the middle and Wren. Plenty of Carlton players up. Murphy came in hard from the side and that was a good effort. Got it on the ground. Ball up about 35 metres out from Adelaide's attacking goal.
Dennis Malcolm-Blight concerned about Koutafidis. Orman Allen off him. Edwards on now.
And Curls, is Pearce sitting on the bench still? Because he could be a goal scorer they could look for now, I think, Carlton.
Yes, but he hasn't found the ball much at all yet.
No, not yet. But now that they've got a little bit of momentum going, he's the one that can steal something.
Tregenza short towards half forward and Caven.
Well, that's one thing about Simon Tregenza. He is not a stylish kick, but he's certainly effective. And when he passes the ball short, it's usually to someone to his team's advantage.
10 possessions so far for Tregenza.
He's always lively, isn't he? He's manning up on Sean Charles at the moment. Crows have kicked a point in the second term. Carlton have kicked 1 goal, 2.
Not a bad spot to have a shot from here with a breeze at his back.
Fairly average kick. Still there in the danger area as far as Carlton is concerned. Rice overruns it. Gathered there by Dean, but he was put under a lot of pressure. So was Manton. Jarman out wide. Koutafidis. They need about 4 of him at the moment. His kick been dropped there by Hamill. McKay under pressure. Smart down by Hamill. And a good contest for the footy right down here in front of the commentary box between wing and left half forward, favouring Adelaide. Ormond Allen having a spell on the bench. Matthew Allen and Wren. Well, the umpire saw that, what, as a 0-0 draw, John?
Yeah, that's certainly what he's saying to Matthew Allen now, but and he was on a better side to view that than we are, but certainly looked as though Matthew Allen was either shepherded or taken high.
Well, the protagonist will go at it once again. Gathered by Ratton, quickly onto his boot. Mark taken by Whitnell. Wider still to Camporelli. Camporelli towards full forward, looking for Pearce. In front, Hume doing the crumbing. Lovely hand pass. Charles into an open goal and missed what he should have kicked. You've got to mop those up, Terry, surely.
No doubt about that. I mean, that's technically Sean Charles' strength, that he can find the goals and can finish it off. That was a very good, that's the best bit of play that Carlton have produced for the day. Some good run off the half-back line, some handball that found the mark, and players running and streaming through the centre corridor.
Margin 15 points now. Bassett kicks in very high towards Wren. Kudafiti's missed it, then fell over. As a result, Ellen slips the hand pass to Bickley. A bit happening behind play, a couple in a scuffle. Bickley, meantime, kicks it down towards half forward, and Hart. And Hart is marked in the true centre half forward position. Rashudo dropping back. It's not a bad kick. It turned the defender around. Rashudo almost a clever mark. Off the body, it spills towards the boundary. Going in there was Manton. I think it was his body the ball hit. And a boundary throw in left full forward.
Well, a chance here for Adelaide. That's a strong breeze now.
The conditions have really turned now, haven't they?
So in the left forward pocket for the Crows, the boundary throw in. Snapshot there by Caven. That is a goal of the day so far by Peter Caven for Adelaide. 100 games, and he'll remember that goal for a long time. Adelaide 6th, and they lead by 21 points.
And an important goal. I mean, Carlton came out, got the first goal through Kudafiti's, then 3 behinds, which they missed, but they had the momentum, and now the opportunity here for Caven. Very well done. I mean, he's a very accomplished player now. I mean, a long time to get to his 100 games, but showing great skill.
Well, Caven kicked the goal, but there was a slick hand pass came out of that. I think it was from Sampson. Terry, did you take much notice? Murphy, still Carlton. Kudafiti's under pressure. Silvani a long way down the ground. Kicks it out wide. Pearce gathers. Can he run away from Goodwin? He can. Goodwin puts enough pressure on him. He tries to kick it to the front of the goals. Now the Crows' defence under a bit of pressure. Kick off the ground by Nigel Smart. Bickley can't quite control it, but he goes after it again. Handballs it, well, just out wide where Tregenza gathered. Now the race is on between Jarman and Ratton. Ratton first to the football. A little kick off the ground. Well done by Darren Jarman to provide the contest and force a boundary throw in. 6-4 to 2-7, 10 shots to 9. But Adelaide showing the Blues a clean pair of heels so far in this game. We've got about 12 minutes left in the second term. Sean Charles and Tregenza. Still Charles. Bickley takes the ball away. No nonsense football by Mark Bickley to Costa. Costa high. The ball will land at half forward. It beats the Carlton defenders. In goes Mark Stevens, and Mark Stevens pops through another one for the Crows. His first goal, and the Adelaide Crows kick their 7th. They lead 7-4 to 2-7.
Well, it's a dominating scoreline just at the moment, isn't it? And what I've been impressed with the Crows is the way in which they've been able just to absorb these short pushes that Carlton have made into the game. The most significant one was a 5-minute period in the early part of this quarter. They've absorbed that. Now they're coming back with the last 2 goals and seemingly gathering their momentum up again.
Margin 27 points now. Crows on top. A couple of quick goals. Wren and Allen. Taken high was Bradley. He'll get the free kick alongside the centre circle. Advantage is paid. Murphy, Kudafiti's having a good turn. Spears the pass in. And this is Pearce. Pearce from just outside the 50. Bacon square. He senses that. He goes for home. It's all carry in any case. Wonderful kick.
Well, he's got to be their goal scorer, doesn't he? I think, you know, it has to be the cornerstone. He's got to be able to kick 4 goals here today at least, I think, for Carlton to win this game. And then other players, whether it be Silvani or someone else, has to nearly match him with another 4 particularly the way Adelaide are playing, but he's a real enigma, isn't he?
It's not Brad Pearce, is it?
Oh, well, yeah.
Hey,
You know,
short hair, no...
well, that's when
no
I must apologise to Curls, because I did ask whether he was sitting on the bench because I couldn't pick him right up there, up against the point post earlier.
So the Blues get their third goal on the scoreboard, and they've made a blue here in the centre square. Too many in there, and the free kick is to Adelaide. It'll be taken by Sean Wren.
Yeah, Silvani in early over the line.
Thanks, Curls. Sean Wren, he does kick the ball with a lot of penetration. Good mark to Murphy. Now, he is an improved player over the last couple of seasons. Justin Murphy, he's coming up for his 16th possession. Out wide, the mark is taken by Allen. Smart, now, can that be a 50-metre? No.
Well, it can if Smart does all of the action, but I think Matthew Allen made sure that there was more in it, or it looked as though there was more in it.
Well, they've messed this up, Johnny. Absolutely made a meal of this, the Blues. The Crows will capitalise. Tregenza running nearly to the 50. McKay in front, couldn't take the mark. Oh, down he goes.
High tackle.
Very tough tackle. The advantage wasn't with Carlton, really. The umpire paid it that way. They might still get out of trouble through good play by Manton. In the finish, just let himself down a little with the kick, but he did well to at least get the ball out to the wing, where the mark taken by Wren. Wren goes short. Player on his own is Sampson. Clay Sampson for Adelaide. He's kicked a goal. He's too far out to score. They don't mind hanging on to the footy, though, to try and create a chance. He's forced to kick high into the pocket. Hogg. Left foot kick by Hogg goes straight back to the nearly the same player. Tregenza chipped in front of Sampson on this occasion and has marked. 46 plays 25, and it is a 21-point advantage for Adelaide.
And the Crows have locked it in. Tregenza towards the middle. Baccioni set a task. Camporelli was up there. Bradley hit the pack hard. Kicks towards midfield. Knocked away. Well played. Following through is Bassett. Applies a tackle. Silvani's got it now, though. Carlton with runners ahead of the ball. Knocked out by Hamill. Uncharacteristic fumble from Bradley. Whitnell gets it to Hamill. Back it comes to Bradley on the wing. Cuts back inside now. Bradley spots Hume. It goes in that direction. Charles came in. Couldn't complete the mark. Ratton's hand pass comes out. Picked up by Pearce. Sweeping hand pass now. Grabbed by Murphy. They claim it was touched. It doesn't matter. It's wide of the mark. It's a behind.
Dennis, I noticed that Carlton have recognised the Bacini threat. The Hogg is back as opposed to him now.
Kick in. Player on his own out wide is McLeod. He's able to play on and then kick it down the line. Gee whiz, this great running provided here by Peter Caven. Gets around onto his left foot, then kicks and sets up McKay. He's able to knock the ball away. Hogg quickly onto his right foot. Back into the centre. Hamill. Good mark by Aaron Hamill. He had a couple of opponents, but he was able to mark safely. He could kick it out wide. Manton has made good position. He's able to slip over. And maybe, can he still get away with this? He does, and then, gee whiz, in the finish, untidy work by the Blues.
What a terrible sin that is. You'd never go to ground. Now, I don't think Glenn Manton was tripped up there. I think he just decided to go down to ground level.
Allen off and Porter on. 7.5 minutes left of the first half.
Porter immediately into the action, knocks it down to Bradley. Koutoufides feeds it back, gave away some ground. Camporelli from 60 out. Very high kick. The defence should swarm on this. They get it down in front. Whitnell grabs it though, snaps and misses. (7-4) to 3-9. Now, Carlton have been very lax when Adelaide have kicked the ball in. They're getting some distance on their kicks and they're getting it to a man unchecked. We'll watch it again. Bassett. Playing the zone, Carlton. And that man has been freed up every time getting in behind the zone. It's Caven.
Yeah, and what Carlton are trapping the guy closest to the goal, where really the more dangerous one is the one further away where they can create run from the wing.
Whitnell to Murphy. They'll bring it back in. This is Sexton. Sexton, a high kick inside the 50. Silvani almost. One of those patented leaps. Couldn't hang on. And we've got a ball up about 40 metres out from the Blues attacking goal. They trail 46 to 27.
Somebody's bleeding underneath there, Dennis. I don't know who it is.
Not surprised.
Probably a couple. Just that indicator of how much pressure the Adelaide Crows are putting on Carlton is becoming more evident now. It's 64 handballs to Carlton and 24 to Adelaide. So
Camporelli again.
It's really blowing out.
Camporelli coming off. He was off earlier with a nick.
He's not happy, is he? I mean,
just
the sight of blood, is it, John? I mean, no matter how large. Well,
even if
he
it's
isn't happy at all, is he?
It's very minor. It's just a little.
And more often than not, that wipe would be all they could treat him with anyway.
And he can't wipe it on his jumper, because if it's on his jumper, the umpires are told to send him off as well.
What's the situation, John, if he steps over the line, wipes his nose and goes back on himself?
That's okay.
It's okay.
Yep.
So
No worries.
why are we going through this? Because he'll be back on in a couple of minutes, I'd suggest.
Well, presumably, I mean, you'd think that Carlton have made the decision that they need a bit more time to clean it up, which seems to be the case if we have a look now.
Do we have to have any more contentious areas in this great game of ours, Dennis?
We can't waste Johnny this afternoon.
My seat's got to be the hottest seat in the house.
Good on you, John. Ratton across the line, missed by Koutafidis. Bickley over the top. That awkward bouncing ball, but made his by Edwards. Edwards, left foot kick, is going to be marked. Very well marked.
Not paid.
Dear, I would have given him A for effort anyway. Andrew McKay kicks in towards the half-forward line. Contest provided here. Hamill. Down came Bassett to confront Aaron Hamill. Ball spills for a throw-in.
Just on that marking attempt by Andrew McKay, if the umpire believes that it's fallen out as a result of him hitting the ground, he'll pay the mark.
So Camporelli getting ready.
This is very interesting. Mark Nash has obviously been told to have a look at Silvani by one of the Crows players, because he's run 15 metres to have a look. So somebody's drawn his attention to it and dobbed on Silvani, and it's obviously been unjustified because Silvani's not been sent off.
No, it was off Camporelli. I think Silvani rubbed his arm.
Koutafidis, back to Murphy. Murphy deep in the pocket, kicks to the front of the goals, and Whitnell nearly got it. It's still there to be crumbed, but very well done by Rashudo. Gets it out wide to Caven, and the Crows out of trouble.
Wide towards the wing, leading in the race out there is Hogg. He takes it across the line, so boundary throw in right on the wing. Adelaide 7-4, Carlton 3-9. The Blues playing with a lot more endeavour now. Camporelli anxious to get back into the fray. Former South Australian Scott Camporelli.
And it's not an easy job for the runner to make this change now. So the player that's gone on is right across the other side, and they've got to make it now while players in action.
Murphy taken down hard. Wren digs it out. Whistle. Free kick to Carlton. And Ratton, I think, will get the free, and not Murphy.
Murphy complaining that he was hit high too, Dennis.
There's Murphy. And Ratton next in line. Kick inside the 50. No conviction in the punch from behind. McLeod roved it pretty well. Hamill, who's lifted in the last couple of minutes, pulls it back towards full forward, but was across the line. So the boundary throw in. Adelaide 46, Carlton 27, and we've got 5:20 remaining in the opening half.
Still the flags up above the Robert Heatley stand, blowing quite fiercely down to that end of the ground. Probably been a bit blustery. This has become much more of an enclosed stadium with all the big stands that have been built here. Ratton with his left foot scunges a kick, but well done by Bassett. Backed himself and then handled the ball pretty well. Kicks it back close to the wing. Gathered by Tregenza. Gets his kick away awkwardly. Oh, great mark taken by Manton. Handball off to Dean. Dean in a spot of bother. Wider still to McKay. McKay short. And the mark is taken out there by young Locke. Locke, left foot kick towards half forward. No mark. The ball spills. Well done, Porter. Handball over the top. Hamill's a chance. Ducks the tackle. Still got the footy. Going to be penalised. Advantages paid to the Crows. And in the middle of the ground, they combine again. Rashudo's kick across that line. Not marked by Ben Hart. Gathered there by Piccioni. Still looks very composed. What's happened now? There's going to be a free kick down here by the look of it.
It's against Murphy. He's I don't know what he's done, but he's either infringed another player or said something to Mark Nash, because there's a lot of conversation going on out there.
Well, you've got to be a bit of a genius to keep up with it, because that free kick has been relayed. Yes, Charles is in trouble.
There's a stretcher going out here to Charles.
Wren off and Pittman on with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Now, ruling here, if the stretch is out, we stop play, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Ben Hart with the football. In the box there is Sean Charles.
He doesn't look well either. I mean, it's a real pain. That's the right
An ankle
leg.
injury, is it?
Well, I'd have it a little bit higher. I'd have it up around the shin region, and whether it's a broken leg, it's a big call at this stage, but he's showing real pain. I mean, across from 6 years at Melbourne, and you know, just last year started to fulfil some of the potential he's showing. Always been injury riddled, the poor man. Gets over here, and in the first game, can't get to half time.
If we went back a little bit from that passage of play, it must have happened back, because the ball did come from there, didn't it? I think it was Mark Rasciuto that collected it in the middle of the ground and kicked it over here to where Ben Hart has it now. So with interest, Sean Charles coming off the ground. We'll watch with interest to see what happens.
Robbo, he's going straight down to the down. That's not a good sign.
Right knee.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, you're coaching this sort of thing. You got young Porter in hard at the ball, so you get that boy a tick as a result of the coach. But the cost here, this is a very, very high cost. I mean, today and right through the pre-season, we'd always been concerned about Carlton's ability to score goals. Sean Charles, through the practice match period, had shown that potentially he could have been that player, giving good creative play off the half-back flank, and now to fall foul of the game as he's done here now, just really through
you
no
see the
fault
grimace.
of anybody. Yeah,
Well,
the
more
grimace on his face before he hit the ground.
Just incredible endeavour for the footy has resulted in
Porter,
Sean Charles
doing
being
exactly
injured.
what he was there to do.
So after the break, Ben Hart's got the ball. Man on the mark, Peter Dean right on the 50. Needs to start it out to the right. He's normally a pretty good kick. He's got one goal already. Takes the man on the mark, and that wasn't a complete surprise to Dean. Dean was waiting for him. So Hart heads for the boundary, pulls it back to the middle. Costa's got it now, runs inside the 50. He goes for goal. It's floating. Was it touched? It went against the post. Behind. Cat and mouse there. Too much time to think. Hart was planning it. Dean was watching him plan it. One of those situations where he knew, I knew, you knew, he knew.
And in the finish, Dean Rice to kick it back in. Reasonable distance. Gathered by Koutafidis off the left foot. Pretty good too. Out there on his own is Camporelli to Bradley. They should get a goal out of this. Camporelli providing the shepherd. Bradley's kick. Too high for Whitnell. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Whitnell trying to just knock it back to Silvani's advantage. Still Stephen Silvani. He's probably got to have a shot for goal. It bounces fortuitously for the Blues. And what happened there? Pearce's kick smothered off the boot.
Fellas, very bad news for young Charles. The doctors confirmed that it is a broken leg.
Oh dear.
Well, that looked an absolute certainty for a goal to Carlton, but we'll watch again as Bradley brings it in. The kick carrying too far for Whitnell. Still a chance here with Silvani keeping it alive.
I mean, what we'll watch here, Robbo, I just think Pearce just takes it that little bit nonchalantly here. It's all open there, and it was very high drop, and
well, it actually wasn't smothered. It just was a full kick out of bounds. As Stevens now at the other end of the ground, Mark Stevens' kick. Look at the bloke in the goal square, just screaming out for it. Ben Hart. Mark Stevens' kick missed everything.
Didn't he show some courage going after the mark? Just missed that while watching that replay. There's Sean Wren, but Mark Stevens bloodedly towards two players who are coming in the opposite direction, and now Porter will come off.
Gee, what would be absolutely ridiculous if we had more than 4 players come off for the blood rule. So they're going to play the game. You keep going with 17 men, or do you just wait until one of them cleans up and goes back?
And while it's
it'd have to go on. If they haven't got a player ready to come on, then the game would have to continue.
Highly bloody likely.
The other interesting part was, John, earlier, someone lagged in on Stephen Silvani. We all saw that, where he may have had some blood smeared upon him, and he then would have been asked to leave the arena. I just wonder, Dennis, when will be coming, side might go out there with a sacrificial lamb to produce some blood and smear it on the opposition
I like the blood pellet one myself. That appealed to me. You can buy them anywhere, those blood pellets. Just get out there and you can run amok in a grand final. Yeah, we will hear more ramifications of this, I'm sure. Somewhere down the track, something untoward will happen. I'm sure the umpires will sort it out, though.
Oh, hope it's not left to us.
They may have blood types on the back of their Guernsey as the ball floats out of bounds on the full. Caven throwing it on the boot, all to no avail. He did kick a beautiful snap goal from that area earlier in this term. And the Crows lead it by 20 points. Dean Rice. Terrible news about Sean Charles. Broken leg. Ratton has it. Comes back to Rice, a man who knows all about injuries. He kicks it up towards the wing. Tailor-made for Ellen, who reaches over the top, knocks it wide. Edwards against the flow. Almost a collision with Ellen, who misses the ball. Whitnell's got it now. Feeds it out wide. Overrun by McKay. Swooping on it, Rintoul. Dragged down well by Murphy. Lucky for the Crows, it floats off the boot. And is marked by Ellen, who spots a man wide. Coming back is Sexton. Sexton brilliantly done. Kept his eye on the ball. Lock boots it wider still. It's at right half forward for the Crows. Tregenza, who's been so good, is the first to arrive. Still he goes, Tregenza. Knocks it out to his own advantage. Fighting in there is Dean. Dean and Tregenza, both of them did very well. And Dean eventually ties it up for the Blues.
He's the hero of the Carlton crowd, Peter Dean.
He's been that for a long time now, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, he really was out-positioned. Yep. A fella of his age and experience, he had to do all the running and then desperately dispossessed Tregenza and went back after it to make it just a nil-all situation.
So as David Parker now introduces this new group of players into league football, a player like Peter Dean is very, very important to him.
My word. Rintoul's kick back towards full forward. Ben Hart missed the mark. Koutafides working at both ends of the ground. Manton out wide. He's trying to wait this for Murphy's advantage, but really it's Edwards who's going to make the football his. Can he control it? No, he can't. 47 plays 27, so not much happening as far as the scoreboard is concerned. The Crows have kicked 2 goals 2 in this term. Carlton have kicked 2 goals 5. So 20-point advantage for the Crows. Allen, Koutafides knocks it. Not quite forward enough. Nigel Smart gathered by Jarman. Jarman's kick straight to Sexton. Probably could have made a little bit more of it. It felt as though he did look down the ground, Darren Jarman, but really pinpointed Michael Sexton. Sexton's kick has been marked by Manton. McKay, they really have to be accurate with those hand passes across the half-back and full-back line. This is Murphy. Murphy's kick gets very good distance. Whitnell at the back, couldn't take the mark. He's still got the footy. Handball's out of that congested area. Rashudo shrugs the tackle. Left-hand hand pass. Bradley. It is there to be won at half forward for Carlton. The fans screaming, but the umpire will bounce. 20 points is the advantage. The halftime siren imminent. And there it is. So that is the halftime score here at the Optus Oval. Adelaide, the away side, the reigning premiers, 7-5.
Back. There were signs in that second quarter. There's the bounce. Porter tries to spike it. It rolls around his shoulders. Eventually falls to Bradley. Smothered off the boot by Bickley. Bickley charges through the centre square area. Well played. The skipper throws it on the boot then and drives it down towards half forward. Leading in the race is Rice. He's got support. Koutafides is bringing up the rear. Rice, though, outmanoeuvred by Sampson, who knocks it across the boundary line, and it will be thrown in.
Amazing the difference of a smother.
Yes,
instead of
back
it
in the
being
middle.
within goal-scoring distance for the Blues, it's in the Adelaide Crows forward half, and it was all about a smother in the middle of the ground.
Boundary throw in. Wren and Porter. 2 tall bodies go at it. Porter down to Ratton. Hurried kick. It floats towards the wing. Little push in the back. Smart then dropped the mark anyway. Could have almost been penalised. It's slippery. When they came back onto the field, there was light rain. This is Costa. Close to the line, Costa. McLeod, did he keep it in? Tackled by Murphy. The hand pass ill-directed. Good pressure by the Blues. Hume went off the ground. Brilliant pick-up in the conditions by Ellen. Ellen across half-back. Kicks it back through midfield. It'll bounce towards half-forward. Taken by Jarman. He's been pretty quiet. Jarman inside the centre square. Kicks for space. Beautifully done. And trapping it down between his knees eventually was Hart. But it stands as a mark.
Oh, that was just a great play there from Jarman. While others were still having trouble just coming to grips with being able to handle the ball in the slightly slippery conditions, took it on the one grab and beautiful left foot kick.
Ben Hart on the forward line, kicking for his second goal. Hasn't got the carry. It has, but not the direction. Behind.
So both coaches, in essence, have left their structures as they were prior to half-time. Carlton still with Whitnell and Silvani in the forward line, but they've all been well held to date by the Adelaide's Crows defence, which has been most impressive.
Bit of a risk here for the Blues, but it might come off. They've gone straight down the ground. Hume to Camporelli, in towards full forward. Silvani gets Bassett underneath the ball. Pearce not able to control it. In goes Goodwin to put some pressure on and forces a boundary throw in left forward pocket for the Blues. So they got the ball down the ground pretty quickly from that behind kick by Ben Hart, and it's now about 40 metres from the Carlton goal. Adelaide 7-6 lead, Carlton 3-9. Porter doing the ruck work. Matthew Allen having a spell on the bench at the start of this third quarter. So the responsibility up against Sean Wren with Mark Porter. Wren, the presence of a big man. He really is a powerhouse for the Crows. Gets front posse, holds it, can't quite get an effective left hand to it, but then somehow just tried to force it forward for Adelaide. Allen, handball over the top, Rashudo. Interception there provided by Locke. Down goes Murphy, good tackle by McLeod. All fair and above board. Umpire calls for a bounce. 48 plays, 27. Adelaide by 21 points. As yet, no multiple goal scorers in the game. Umpires Mitchell, Nash and Norden. Ball spills to the back. Camporelli, handball over the top. Very good gather there by Locke, it may have been. Ratton gives away very, very much meterage. Manton out very wide. Whitnell provided the lead, but chipping in as Sampson. He's a much stronger and more physical player as Sampson. Rashudo back to Sampson. Sampson's kick to half forward. No mark. Gathered by Manton. Still in trouble. Brilliantly dispossessed by Bickley. May set up a chance. Stevens
Good
run down
chase.
by Rice. You haven't got all day, Mark. You've been caught with the footy, and you're going to be free kicked against.
And I also think that maybe young Lance Piccioni just didn't have enough volume up in his voice. You know, she's a big game, big step
Push
up
out
for
paid
him.
against...
How did he get that, Wheels, in the weight room?
Oh, no, it's just that when you've been playing practice matches, you've been playing under 18, now you're up into where there's a real loud volume of noise out in the ground, and if you want to be heard by your teammate, you've got to yell.
The tackling is great. Crows tackling sensational.
Off the ground by Smart, up towards the wing. Camporelli in the road, though. Got a hand pass away. They're under pressure. The kick comes in from Pearce. Dropped down there by Whitnell. Loose ball at the back. Still a chance for the Blues. Well done by Koutafidis. Got it to Porter. Porter's hand pass to Whitnell. Open goal beckons. Needs a finish. And he gives them one.
He's a class young player, Lance Whitnell. He's got a big future.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He really just needs to stay in hard at the ball, staying in the contest all the time. This one he was involved initially, comes back again here. Perhaps I would have liked to have seen him barging through there a little bit quicker, but once he found the space, he was able to finish it off very well. Needs to be perhaps a second string player in the forward line, not the key centre forward.
Well, some good play there between Koutafidis, Porter, and then Whitnell, the goal kicker. Rashudo run down by Bradley. Handballs just straight forward for Adelaide.
Oh.
It is wide, very wide, that kick from Stevens. Out on the full. Ben Hart prepared to mind the mark on Peter Dean. The Dean goes short. Mark is taken there by Sexton. They've done their homework pretty well on Michael Sexton, and restricting him to just a handful of possessions. Hamill couldn't take the mark. It's been paid to Porter. So Porter
And I don't think that was a mark, just quietly,
No, I
Robert.
thought Hamill got his hands on it first, Johnny.
I'm sure you're right.
But Porter's kick is a good one. Up towards half forward, gathered by Hume, well tackled again. Ratton, Whitnell, tries to get it back. Edwards, McLeod, still there. Smart, run down, you'll be penalised. So the Blues' intensity lifting, I guarantee they've had an awful rev by David Parkin. Koutafidis squeezes a kick out. It's going to be marked by Silvani. certainly look as though their work rate's lifted.
Yep. I mean, Adelaide Crows spun the ball maybe 3 or 4 times with handball, but each time the receiver got the ball, there was a Carlton player right on their hammer.
Silvani goes for goal. It is a floating kick. It has missed, I think. 2 behinds is a very average return for Stephen Silvani playing up at full forward.
And more specifically is that the Carlton haven't been able to get consecutive goals just yet, and that was probably their best opportunity after some good work by the forwards there working to keep the ball in. Silvani had the chance. Really getting back-to-back goals is just the momentum they'll need to create now.
Terry, just for the record, the Adelaide's performance against the Carlton is not good in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we'll watch that with interest.
Yeah. And if Adelaide do continue on and do play well in this 3rd quarter, I'd then start to really go with you, Curl, saying it is a different looking Adelaide side now. They've been very aggressive here today.
Tregenza, who's had a fine game, running through the middle, got the hand pass away. This is Rintoul, strong tackle. McKay got him down. Murphy knocking it to his own advantage. Costa put down. It was Porter that got him. Down goes Bickley. Hasn't it lifted? Hamill spins out of trouble, kicks it out towards left half forward. In front was Whitnell. This is Bassett. He's claimed immediately by Hume. Down goes Whitnell. McLeod got him. Putting the boot in was Wren. It ricochets to Ratton. Ratton off the side of the boot. Play on's the call, or was it? No, the mark was paid. Camporelli looks up and spots Silvani. Silvani goes short. That's ambitious. Knocked away down there by Goodwin. Waiting in front is Bassett. Bassett comes back to Goodwin. Goodwin close to the boundary line. Taken front on. Oh, that's very dangerous. Silvani cannoning in there. It'll be a free kick to Goodwin.
Well, you can have no doubt that David Parkin has delivered the message. If you go down with a bit of a fight. And they've come out with the football and the opposition primarily on their minds.
It's good to see Goodwin's okay after that. Very dangerous situation. Well, he's not okay, but it could have been far worse.
Sometimes we see some soft ones paid in that situation, but I just think it's crucial that we protect the guy that's got his head down trying to get the footy.
Here's Wren under pressure. As a result, almost missed the ball. Sliding in his lock, brilliantly done, ties it up. Oh, and he's penalised for holding it. Gee, that's tough. That is very tough on the youngster.
It is. And
becoming one of the worst capers of the lot.
I agree. And the thing that it seems as though they're a bit inconsistent with is there has to be a legal tackle. Not just another player putting pressure on, but there has to be a legal tackle.
Well, I know the crowd, they do pay their money. It gives them the right to boo and cheer no matter what. But, oh, gee, that's going to become one of the hardest things for people to understand in footy, I'm sure.
Well, I think it is now, Robbo.
Dean Rice trying to struggle his way through. It finishes with Camporelli. Camporelli's played a fair game so far. His kick will land at half forward. Whitnell's read it pretty well. Can he gather? The ball at the back. McLeod tackled, got the handball away. Well done to Costa. Costa out wide. High flyers wanted out there. Wren, that's not a mark. Rice dispossesses, and then a little kick off the ground by Dean Rice and goes past Hamill and clear for a boundary throw-in. 14 points is the margin now in favour of Adelaide.
Robbo, do you think Carlton can sustain this sort of pressure for the rest of the game, or do you think there's a bit of the last throw of the dice just to see if they can turn it around?
Well, I suppose if you can get some momentum, that's what they're trying to do. Rest it away a little bit, and just maybe it might come back down to an arm wrestle. Bickley dispossessed. McLeod does well to Rashudo. Rashudo sweeps it out wide to Allen.
Allen storms through the middle, kicks down inside the 50, intended for Hart, over the top Dean. He landed hard, waiting behind Sexton, knocks it down to Hogg. Plenty of experience there. They called on it all, and Hogg runs it across the boundary line with his side down by 14 points. Boundary throw in right half forward. 7-6-4-10. Perhaps Porter. The base of the pack, Jarman hurriedly onto the boot inside the 50. Hart appear to be held by the arm. No free kick. Manton leads in the race. Rashudo is there. Across the line it goes. It'll be tossed in. Porter's off the ground. Back comes Allen. Some good work from Porter. The defence for the Blues needs to hold here. Allen immediately takes front position. Trying to reach over the top is Stevens. Well played. Ratton got it across to Sexton. Sexton boots it out wide. Whitnell close to the boundary line, fumbles it. Will be thrown in right on the wing. The game in the balance now. The Blues playing with a lot of spirit, and they did that from early in the second quarter after looking very sluggish in the opening term. Thrown in on the wing. Wren in front, wins it decisively. Bradley looking a little out of sorts. He's got problems. Dragged down, swooping on the loose ball is Costa. 65 metres out, but the kick is a wayward one. It wanders down towards the pocket. Stevens, an unkind bounce. Sexton grabs it,
and he just throws it onto his right boot, back towards the middle of the ground. Wren, indiscriminate hand pass. McKay dispossessed by Jarman. Another beautiful, just one grab, tack at the football. Rasciuto and Piccioni. Piccioni's kick is high, and a very good effort there by Sexton. If it wasn't a mark, it certainly was a free kick to Michael Sexton on the full back line.
The mark wasn't paid, Robbo. The free kick for the high contact was.
So, dragged away from the footy in his attempt to take the mark. Michael Sexton has the footy in the back pocket for the Blues. His kick will land out wide. Well done by Koutafidis. One touch of the footy to his own advantage and then controlled it. Kicks the ball down close to the wing. Whitnell, Pearce, dispossessed. Goodwin couldn't quite control the footy. DeUlio comes on to replace Pearce, and
I think that move's been a long time coming. Just looking at the Carlton forward line, they really lack that small player in underneath, doing the crumbing work underneath Silvani. And Allen now, Matthew Allen out at centre half forward.
McKay in trouble, goes back to Hamill, the man who got him the ball. McLeod crashes in. McKay again brilliantly. Koutafidis spins out of trouble, dragged down. Whitnell has it, goes wider. Camporelli controlled it pretty well. Back to Ratton. He's in the true centre half forward position. Runs inside the 50. This will be a team lifter. Great goal.
Well, a fair period there between the back-to-back goals, but eventually Carlton have got them the first two of this all-important third quarter. Koutafidis again in amongst it. He's had some 22 disposals playing on the wing as Anthony Koutafidis, and he certainly has been the player who's kept Carlton within striking distance. 8 points is striking distance now, and Ratton coming through the centre, kicking long.
Hart and Smart changing positions. Hart going to the fence, Smart coming up forward.
Curls, we might have just chopped you off there. What's actually happening there?
Well, Carlton have got far more intensity in this quarter. They're really attacking the ball hard. They're backing up and showing good support for each other.
Well, you would like this sort of thing, Neil. I mean, this is the sort of thing that you really appreciate. You did mention on the after the half-time break that they are much harder at the footy, the Crows, and they've been confronted now physically.
Well, they certainly are, and at this stage you'd have to say Carlton are ahead in that area, and they're backing up better, and they're starting to get the ball out nicely to some running players, with Caving coming off with the blood rule again.
Well, Ratton, I think, Terry Wheeler, you mentioned there that he did kick the goal. He's had 21 possessions, and he really is an engine room player.
Yeah, well, we got Ratton with 21, Koutafidis with 22. Ratton's doing more inside the contest. Koutafidis has given them a little bit of flair around the periphery of it all.
So the ruck contest, Jarman back to Wren. Wren was the ruckman. Kick towards half forward, dispossessed there. Back goes Hogg, gets it back to Dean. Dean out wide to make it a running contest here. Ben Hart looks as though he's been moved back. Handball to Edwards. The football is difficult and it's hot. Well done. Great tackle by Murphy. Ratton swoops on it. Out wide to Bradley. He might get run down by McLeod. He gets the hand pass away. Camporelli's tackled. Shrugs it. Play on, says the umpire. No, it's not. It's a free kick. It went back to Bradley. He in turn to Camporelli. Camporelli, oh, Silvani gives away the free kick. Much too early, Stephen, on that occasion. And a blatant free kick to the Crows across that full back line.
Adelaide Crows up by 8 points. Carlton a proud record, of course, on this ground. I think they've won 32 of their last 37 games at Optus. And they're not going quietly here. It seemed that the Crows were controlling the game. Costa's got it from Bassett. Still deep in his own defensive area. Kim Costa's been a good player. His 12th possession, drives to the outer side, and Wren, I'd pay that one. The crowd obviously wouldn't. He was on the way down when some contact was made with the body. It jarred the ball out. Sean Wren off his step, sends it down towards half forward. Interference surely to Hogg.
Yep.
Choney up way too early. Matty Hogg, who started out as a Bulldog.
Double change coming up for the Crows here. Pittman about to come on.
The tackling has been a feature in this term. Here's Hogg, wanting some movement from half back through the wing towards half forward. Nice kick. Hamill in space, close to the boundary line. Carlton, another goal would move them within 6 points. Loose ball at the back of the pack, some indecision down there. Diulio a little slow to come to it. I think he thought that Hume was going to run onto the ball, and it spills across the boundary line. There's Pittman and Caven both waiting to come on. In the distance, Porter. Pittman has seen limited duty. Wren has been very good. This is Bradley waiting behind the pack to Camporelli. Camporelli from 65 metres out. Great mark, Koutafidis. Mismatch there. Koutafidis on Edwards. They'll need to look at that.
In the last game last year, I was a bit critical of Anthony Koutafidis in a conference with the coach after the game about his kicking ability at goal. He takes a great mark. He's a great athlete. Now he has to kick this goal. There's a lot of responsibility. He's over a 100-game player. He must kick this goal.
That's courageous broadcasting, Robbo. Going back to last year to put yourself on the block. And what's he done? I think he's got it. Just.
Well, I think, Terry, you know, you having been a coach, it is the senior players that you look to do those vital things and give a lead to all of the younger fellas that are coming through.
There's no doubt about that. And I see Craig Bradley here does it well. You know, sides will often play the ball back in order to create the space. Bradley's handball back to Camporelli was great, but then a good kick from Camporelli, and yeah, Kuda had to deliver there and did.
Pachoni and Wren both replaced while that goal was being scored.
So the responsible Anthony Koutafidis kicks his second goal and brings Carlton to within 2 points of the Crows. The Crows led 5-3 to 1-4 at quarter time. They've got a chance to go forward here, Adelaide, through Bickley. The kick was well smothered. In trouble, Rintoul. The tackling of the Blues has certainly improved. Rice goes in where Angels fear to tread. Well done, Dean Rice. He was going to be confronted, and he's locked it up about 35 metres out from the Adelaide goal. So a bit of strategy here with Sean Wren having a spell. He has got a big season ahead of him if the Crows are to be another force in 1998. They lead this game at the moment by 2 points. Pittman gets first hand to it. McKay, still McKay. Kick off the ground there by Adelaide, forced forward, but Dean is there. He kicks it out wide. They've got a chance if this bounces nicely for Allen. It does, and Matty Allen down the ground, kicks it into the path of Hume, gathered by Diulio, well tackled, couldn't do much with the footy. That was good tackling, good fierce attack on the footy there by Diulio, and it's locked up by Goodwin. The ball will be bounced. So certainly after just an unbelievable lull in proceedings in the second term, the fans at Optus Oval have come to the fore. That's a free kick maybe against Allen. In his endeavours to get at the footy, put his left arm on the shoulder of David Pittman and has given away the free kick round the neck. Pittman with the footy at right half back.
Not much doubting that one. Pittman kicking down towards half forward. In the road is Allen. Position himself well. Releases Hume. Forward of the play. Hume kicks inside the 50, and from the side, Allen off the fingertips. It runs free behind. Well played by Bassett, but needed a boot in there. Ormond Allen close to the boundary line, knocks it across. So very testing time here for the Crows now. Dennis, obviously just a 2-point ball game, but Adelaide were out to 26-point leaders until Carlton got the last goal of the second quarter, and now Carlton with the 3 in this quarter really have the momentum up and running their way.
And Terry also up here, the Crows are really struggling to find a forward that can take a ball.
Yeah, Mark Stevens really hasn't been able to get in the game. He's playing more half forward, and often his shots are a long way out, and with Ben Hart still the option up there.
High tackle.
Carlton player taken, high advantages paid. Murphy, Diulio finishes with a goal. Carlton in front.
Pretty hard to read football, Dennis, isn't it? I mean, in the first quarter, I think everyone at this ground thought that there was just no system, no fire, no spice at all in the Blues lineup, and now they lead this game deep into the third term.
And it looks as though there's no advantage in having practice matches because they look just so scratchy, didn't they? It's as if they're having their first run for the year, but now it's just starting to flow. And this is a great situation for the Crows to come back from now.
Well, Neil, you mentioned that statistic early in the third term that the Crows have a poor record against Carlton, in particular third quarters.
Exactly right. Against Carlton, their third quarter has never been good.
Well, they now trail this game by 4 points. Chance here for Stevens, dispossessed. Rice helped out by Koutafidis. Back to Hogg, kick smothered. Edwards for Adelaide. Good kick. Great vision by Edwards. Held the kick across his body and found Smart 40 metres out, perhaps a little closer, directly in front.
So Smart and Caven now the two forward options for the Adelaide Crows, with Hart going back to play on Hamill across half-back.
Adelaide at this stage have kicked just one behind in this third term. The Blues have kicked 4 goals, 1. Smart goes for goal and disappointingly has missed. First score for the game for Nigel Smart. And nothing much changes in the coach's box for Adelaide. 3 points the margin in favour of the Blues.
Rice kicking off. Straight down the middle to intended there for Allen. Pittman comes over the top and thumps it away. Loose ball inside the 50. Picked up by Murphy. Locke speeds away from half-back and boots it down towards half-forward. Whitnell in from the side. Ellen got a timely fist on it, but Choney down in front going nowhere. Locke follows up, slips the hand pass away to Whitnell. Whitnell down towards Silvani. Over the top, Bassett. Loose ball at the back once more, crashing into Ulio, and the ball just trickles across the line, despite the attempt of Bradley. It almost stopped on the line. Bradley lifting. Pearce off the ground. We have a boundary throw in the pocket. Carlton up by 3 points. Porter knocks it down. Pittman shields the ball with his body. Claimed by Porter immediately. Ball up. 20 metres out directly in front.
He's enthusiastic, Mark Porter, isn't he? Just
got
a real way about it.
Yep.
Two of their great players in the opening term sitting on the bench there. Wren and Piccioni. Pittman exposes the goal to Bradley, and Bradley couldn't pick it up. Bassett to Edwards, who comes away. He boots it up towards the wing. In front is Sampson. Rice wanted it most and knocks it away. Boundary throw in on the wing. And you get the feeling the Crows will need to get used to this. They're the reigning premiers. They're the yardstick. And sometimes that, as much as anything else, fires an opposing team.
Well, it is such a difficult competition now. Chance for young Locke. Does well, throws it onto his right foot. Bradley outpointed by Costa. 52 plays 49. The Blues lead. And you would have to think that I think they might have got the first score of the game, a rush behind, but that would be the first time they've had the lead since then. Ratton, not quite an effective hand pass. Still there underneath somewhere, and be careful. Now that's an area, John, where I reckon, you know, if he was on the other side and saw it from our side, it was definitely a free kick.
Yeah, that's right, Robbo. The difficulty there is that the more umpires we have on the ground, the closer they're going to get to one another, and the closer they get, the more confusion. So somehow the happy medium has to be struck.
Koutafidis not able to do much with that footy.
And besides, many would say we've got too many on the ground already.
Yeah, Robbo, Murphy's having his knee checked on the boundary here by the doctor. I don't know how serious it is.
Bad loss, because he's been a very good player, Justin Murphy. He's had 8 kicks and 16 hand passes, and most of them have been quite productive. Costa to take the ball away. Pittman's knockout was very good. Costa's kick, 2 out of 10. And I think I'm being generous.
Oh, way over the top.
If there's one thing that lets Costa down, it is his disposal with his leg.
Rice got it to Camporelli. Camporelli from half-back. Boots it towards half-forward. In from the side, Ormond Allen. Angles it towards the boundary. It'll be thrown in with a score 7-10 Carlton, 7-7 Adelaide. Ormond Allen, acquired from Melbourne. Thinking back to the last time these sides met, a heavy collision dislocated the shoulder of Michael Sexton. Kick comes around the corner from Hume, bounces obligingly for Tregenza, who comes away from half back. He's played pretty well. He boots it up towards half forward. In front, Stevens, off hands Rice. Back through the wing, but only as far as that tough man I was talking about, Ormond Allen. He kicks across the ground. Stevens. Allen stopped running alongside, surprisingly. Stevens on the centre wicket area, kicks for space, and Smart off hands behind. The opportunist McLeod, open goal, and he's got it.
Well, very good roving of the pack there by Andrew McLeod, but young Darren Hume will be replayed, that videotape, time and time again to show that if the ball comes to the back, you've just got to be between your opponent and the goal. And you watch here, Andrew McLeod with the just a little bit more experience, read it a bit better, TW.
Yeah, no doubt about that at all. Have him, your opponent, between the goal and the ball.
So back at the centre, a goal by Andrew McLeod has just wrenched back the lead for Adelaide. Porter, Hume, Koutafidis, harassed by Edwards, out wide Rintoul, tackled by Camporelli. In goes Hogg to try and provide a contest there with Rintoul, succeeds in doing so, and the umpire will bounce right on the forward end of the square, about 60 metres from the Crows' goal. 8-7 to 7-10. Now Adelaide lead by that 3-point margin. The Blues a chance here. Ratton gets it.
Hanging over the entire team now. Bounce in the middle. Start of the final term. Adelaide with his slender lead. Porter goes up and knocks it down. Ratton, who was terrific in that last quarter. 9 possessions from Ratton in the third term for the Blues. Camporelli had 10, so the running players got them back. Here's Rashudo on a half-back flank at the moment to send Adelaide around the outer side. Play on's the call. He kicks it very high through the wing. Pittman is there, knocked away by Porter. Down in front, Tyson. Tyson kicks towards the 50, reaching over the top, Manton. Manton got his fist to the ball. He goes after it again. He's got plenty of company, as you can see. Dragged down about 55 metres out from Adelaide's attacking goal. First goal to either side will be handy here. Murphy, that looks bad. Doubt we'll see him back. Heavily strapped. At least it wasn't the knee. It's above the knee. Appears to be a heavy cork, I'd suggest. Jarman puts the body in. Ratton tries to get it out. McLeod trying to shepherd an opponent out of the way there. Socket off the ground by Hume. Eventually picked up by Costa. Bradley applied a good tackle. Lock slickly away. Unable to control it was Sexton. Against the flow now, Tregenza. Tregenza wobbles one inside the 50. And 3 Crows players had stayed back there. I suppose in its way it's a good sign because they've got the footy. In another way, a bad sign because Carlton was storming up the ground. Unfortunately, they turned it over and they're exposed going the other way. But it tells you perhaps the Crows not working as hard as the coach would like. 3 of them behind the play. Still, Bickley from 25-30 metres out. Sends it goalward and gets it.
Well, I think that's a pretty fair call there, Dennis, that these players were just perhaps dropping off the pace and being floating through the half-forward line, but rewarded there with the return ball. To pick up the first goal of the last quarter in such a tight game is very, very important. Carlton, if they get a goal in this contest here now, the crowd will come to their side. It needs to be just the Adelaide players that generate the momentum for the Crows to go on from here.
Well, amazing there that they could have raffled that. McLeod, Caven or Bickley could have marked that and kicked the goal, and it was Mark Bickley. Good mark taken by Whitnell. The kick forward came from Locke. Whitnell plays on, kicks across the full forward line. The ball spills to the front. Dulio and Goodwin. Goodwin does well. Should have been nearly rewarded, I would have thought. Pittman now out to Bickley. The Crows out of trouble. Bickley's kick will find Tyson. Tyson just forward of centre wing. Short kick is all right. Good diving effort by Darren Jarman. Very skillful player. Kicks the ball. Waited beautifully again for Caven. And he has taken the mark. Peter Caven swings around, kicks it into half forward. 3 or 4 uncontested marks finishes with Costa 55 metres from goal. He pumps it in towards the goal square. At the back, Koutafidis. He gathers the football. He's got a player on his own out here, but an ordinary kick in the finish by Anthony Koutafidis. He had Clappe as a target long, but not able to control the footy. It goes over for a throw-in, still in the Adelaide Crows attacking 50-metre area. 61-52, a 9-point margin in favour of Adelaide. Porter can't quite get an effective punch to the football. Underneath there is Stevens and Koutafidis. Stevens wrenches the footy away from Koutafidis, but can't do much with it. The umpire will bounce once again.
61 plays 52. The early going of the final term from Optus Oval. Men in charge. One down by Porter, slapped it wide. Beckley grabbed, got boot to ball. This is Ratton. Hasn't he lifted since half time? Kicks it up towards the wing. Pittman. 3-on-2 situation. Still Pittman crawling after the ball. Rashudo, Costa. He's been lively. His kicking not always the best. This one is better inside the 50. Caven was up. Loose ball at the back though. Hamill has it. A question of making the right decision here, and he does. Gets it to Koutafidis. A runner outside. Koutafidis eventually ignores that and kicks up towards the wing, and Pittman simply too tall.
You know, it's amazing. He could have kicked the ball anywhere in about a 35 or 40 metre arc, and he kicked it straight to the tallest bloke on the ground.
Here's Pittman, just the defensive side of the wing. Sends it back to half forward. Caven the leaper. Hands to it, waiting behind Rice. Needs to be quick. Gets it away. This is Hume across half back. Hurriedly, Tregenza slipped. That aided the Blues. Tregenza applies a tackle on Clappe. Well done by Ratton. Stood his ground, comes away. Kicks it out towards half forward right. But the mark is held by Costa. Rashudo is on for the short one. Trouble for the Blues. The kick not good though. And Rashudo has to stop after marking that one. Had it been a good kick from Costa, he would have been released. And now Jarman, just 10 possessions, pops it over to Pittman.
Possession football by Adelaide. 4 times the Blues have had the footy and kicked it straight to the opposition in the last 6 or 7 minutes. The kick towards half forward. Now Carlton's defence under pressure. McKay, Rice. Kicks it straight back towards Ormond Allen. A diving mark, being confronted, not paid. Still play on. Wondered what that was all about, John.
Not really sure. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that he felt it was spilled out once he hit the ground. But
fair enough. Was pretty close, wasn't it? He did dive and got close to the turf. Yes, it did.
Yeah,
so well spotted there. Boundary throw in left half forward for Adelaide. Edwards throws it onto his right boot. In towards centre half forward. Jarman dispossessed. Confronted by Camporelli, and tough. And he's going to get reported, I think.
No, I think Matty Norton's just going in there to sink. No, he's knocking him off.
Reported.
Yep, he's got him. That'll be an interesting one, because I'd like to see that one again, just to see Matty Norton's position. No doubt it was high contact, but we certainly had a better view than he did.
Well, Darren Jarman has been reported for an incident with Scott Camporelli. Camporelli has the football across half-back for Carlton.
In the context of the game, you know, the impact that has on a player, and Darren Jarman, the one in question now, it can really deflate you for the rest of the game. Your mind starts to wander off to the tribunal and all these sorts of things, whereas, you know, Jarman's the guy here to pick up the goal for them.
Camporelli seems to be okay. Mind you, you wouldn't bet against Jarman going the other way. Here's Costa running back towards half-back. He's been pretty deflated most of the day, I think, Jarman. The ball out towards the outer side. Locked there with Tregenza. Tregenza doesn't have the ball. Slaps it to a voice. Didn't find him. Well picked up by DeUlio. DeUlio's hand pass not particularly effective, or was it? Sexton under the pump. Down goes Locke hurriedly onto the boot. Sends it inside the 50. Ormond Allen trying to reach over the top. Hitting the pack hard was Hart, but emerging with the ball is Clappe. Pulls it back towards the middle, and Koutafidis! Koutafidis has paid the mark about 15 metres out directly in front.
It's a funny old game, isn't it? I mean, the earlier one where the ball's just spilled out, and yet then when Koutafidis takes one firm grab of the footy, one firm grab, and it's paid as a mark even though it's not there when he hits the ground.
Yeah, John, there's always a danger when you match up a small player like Edwards on a tall leaping player like Koutafidis in the air.
Hey, Curls, I'm going to date myself now. The last bloke to excite the social club crowd up that end of the ground where Koutafidis has taken that mark was Brent Croswell. He loved the moment where it was in front of the social club crowd, and Koutafidis brings them to their feet much the same. He's got the goal too. He's kicked 3 goals, Anthony Koutafidis, and if they're to win this game, that is the man that could pull it off for them.
And there's no doubt about that. And Curls is very right that in the midfield between half back and half forward, Edwards is working hard enough to be able to work against Koutafidis. But if Koutafidis continues to float on down within goal scoring range, it's going to be very, very dangerous for the Crows.
So a 3-goal performance by Anthony Koutafidis, by far the leading goal kicker in the Carlton lineup. The bounce really favours Porter. It's Hume to kick the Blues forward. A bit of an up and under, gets to 50 metres, and a great mark taken by Ben Hart. Just snatched it out of the arms of Lance Whitnell. Play on, says the umpire. Hart goes short. It's not really a mark to Goodwin. Back to Hart. Hart down the ground, a wobbly old punt kick to half forward. Now the defence of Carlton under pressure. Smart, his kick out wide. Well done by Tyson. Dispossessed Hogg. Tyson goes in and misses.
Edwards off and Connell on to Koutafidis.
Important there then, a very grave concern obviously for the coaching staff of the Crows. Koutafidis still just hovering around the middle of the ground.
And Curls, that doesn't make him any taller than Edwards, does it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Actually, I'd stay with Edwards, I think.
Yeah, because at least Edwards is up and running.
McKay towards the outer side. McLeod fisted down in front. Bradley, DeUlio kicking it down towards left half forward, and Clappe. Ormond Allen is there with him, knocks it towards the boundary line. Crashing in was Bassett. Boundary throw in right on the 50.
You'd have to wonder if Silvani is totally fit, because he's had little impact on this game at all.
Smart on Koutafidis.
Makes more sense.
That looks a lot better now.
Pittman and Porter, body to body. Pittman slaps it wide. Ormond Allen couldn't control it. Diving in there was Clappe. Dragged to the ground. Down goes Ratton. It spills. Hume knocks it back Carlton's way. Then goes after the ball. Grabs it hard against the line. Pulls it back towards centre half forward. With the run of it to Ulio. He's about 45 metres from goal. Pulls it back across the body. Loose man lurking down there is Clappe. Close to the boundary line, Matt Clappe. Claimed from behind by McLeod. It comes to Dean. An unlikely goal scoring hero. Now he pulls it back. Koutafidis couldn't mark it. Confronted by Smart. Goodwin comes away. Goodwin boots it out towards the half-back flank area. Leading in the race now is Stevens. He's grabbed. Well, a token gesture to kick it. He picks it up. He hugs the boundary with a kick. It's out of bounds on the full. Carlton ball.
So some terrific football by both teams here in the early part of the last quarter. Still 12 minutes left at the moment. The advantages with Adelaide by just 4 points. Chance for them to get clear. Not really. Some tremendous pressure. And that is delivered out of bounds. So the free kick is with Michael Sexton. Did you think so, John?
Well, certainly he tried to do nothing other than put the ball over the line, but I think he was pushed as well, so could have gone either way.
Sexton's kick, Silvani, Manton, Whitnell, Silvani, out of bounds. Is it? Still Camporelli, dispossessed. Ormond Allen, well, that must have been just inside the boundary line. Ormond Allen's kick, up and under, punched forward there by Sexton. Gather was by Koutafidis. Now the mark, Clappe, play on. Hume across the line. It's going to be a Carlton mark to Manton. Bit of a colour in his hair, Glenn Manton. He's a bit of a redhead these days. But he's been a good player for the Blues today.
Carlton just winning more of the loose balls, the hard ones that are in at the ground level that have to be taken and then have to be turned over to continue the advantage for a particular side. Carlton are the ones who are doing that far better than the Crows just at the moment.
Well, like all good defenders, go forward and kick a goal. Glenn Manton, the onus is on that player. He kicks for goal, and he kicks truly. The Blues are in front once again. So it looks as though it's going to go right down to the siren time. Right now, Carlton lead by 2 points. There's 10.5 minutes left.
And so Malcolm Blight now has the opportunity to intervene into the game. I'm not sure about Sean Wren, what the state of he is, sitting on the bench there with Pittman doing all the ruck work. And Wren was so dominant early, you would suggest that there have to be an injury at this stage.
I see they've
bring him back if he was okay.
I see they've matched Kudafidi up with Smart now.
Gutsy performance by the Blues at one stage. They were down by 26 points. They lead it by 2. And the finish inside. Porter falling to the ground. Knocked away by McLeod. Bradley out of the middle towards half forward. Taken by Clappe. Sweeping hand pass out wide. Locke kicks it inside the 50. Hangs in the air. Silvani likes that situation. Working off his man. Body to body. So hard to beat. And Silvani has taken this mark about 45 metres out from goal.
Goalless at this stage in the game, and you would think that if you were aware before the game started that Stephen was going to play at full forward for most of the game, you would probably mark him down for a couple. So he needs this and another one, I would think, to be, even though he still is a contributor in field play, but he must kick goals.
They lead by 2 points. This to make it 8. Silvani, shocking attempt. They contest about 10 metres out. Julio in front has missed to the right-hand side. And when we talk about the down day for Stephen Silvani, credit Nathan Bassett. He's been pretty good in defence. He's worked hard. And a player with a future, it seems. Hart to bring it in. 3 points the difference.
Short kick by Ben Hart finds the player that Dennis was just referring to in Nathan Bassett. He's in the right back pocket. A left foot kick, and he's trying to force himself to kick it wide to the wing, but no one out in that area, so he kicks to Pittman, who's just a little bit inboard. Good mark taken by Hamill. Handball away to Bradley, the skipper. He's got some space. He loves this situation. He hooks the kick in the direction of Clappe, but a good mark taken by Allen. Away to his nearly namesake in Ormond Allen. Nigel Smart. This is a good contest. Kudafidis still there. And Julio back to Kudafidis. Which way is it going?
Adelaide.
Back to Adelaide. And it will go to Clay Sampson just behind the wing, and Wren getting ready to come back.
And you'd wonder why it's taken so long, really. The momentum has just gone Carlton's way. Wren needs to get on that ground as quickly as he can.
8.5 minutes to go then. McKay, he's been resolute. Dean, a man for this situation, to Ratton. Ratton goes with his right boot. Nicely done. Spotted Locke. Locke across half-back, kicking it up towards the wing. Storming up to meet this one, Camporelli. Camporelli with Rashudo closing. Needed to stay on his feet, he didn't. As a result, Rashudo won the hard ball, boots it back towards Bickley. Bickley a sweeping hand pass. Tregenzer's away. He's at right half forward, spots Caven. And Caven on his knees is about 55 metres out. Short one comes back to Allen. Allen takes on the man Whitnell. He read it very well. Didn't buy the fake. Dragged him down. Sexton got the errant hand pass. Kicks it towards the outer side. And it spills across the boundary line.
Dennis, you'd have to think that Wren at this stage would be a far better bet than, say, a Stevens, who's done very little all day.
No doubt.
Looks as though he's lumbering towards a key forward position at the moment. Neil, Sean Wren.
Yes, he is.
Pittman doing the ruck work at the back. Ratton couldn't quite get his left fist to it. Locke, not much space. Well done by Sampson out into the path there of Tregenza. Tregenza close to the line, punched away by McKay. He is a resolute defender, Andrew McKay.
Free kick paid.
What for?
No signal given, so
You couldn't penalise him for
can't tell.
deliberate. Tyson it is with the footy. Kicks it into the square. At the back. It is a rush behind to Adelaide.
Robbo, it appears as though the signal was a high tackle, but a lot happening at the moment. A lot happening.
Jarman and Dean. Dean and Jarman. 65 play, 63. Carlton lead by 2 points.
I think you had it covered, Robbo. Here's Ratton coming away from full-back. Then he boots it towards the outer side. Hart reaches over Hamill. In front, Rashudo. It spills to Whitnell. Took a while. Hand passes towards half-forward. Camporelli juggled it a couple of times against the flow. Stevens flings it out. Whitnell grabs it now. Still Whitnell. Well played. Whitnell from 60 metres out. Heads for home. Slews off the side of the boot. And Silvani. He's got the patent for that mark too.
What about Whitnell just hanging onto the footy? teenager. I just can't help but repeating he's got a big future in the game.
Yeah, great poise. And how often have we seen that? Silvani diving off his man to take the mark. And now Clappe, a lot of responsibility riding on this kick. The Blues are up by 2. A goal here with 6.5 minutes, even less, remaining in the game would make it tough for Adelaide, bearing in mind it's a low-scoring affair.
Do you think Stephen Silvani's goal-kicking abilities, confidence may have...
After that last kick, I think so.
He quickly gave it off, didn't he?
Matt Clappe splits the middle.
Good kick by Clappe.
Yep, picked up his second goal, and he now is the only multiple goal scorer alongside Koutafidis, who has 3. And I think that really underlines the value of Koutafidis in such a small game here, scoring game here just at the moment. His ability there to be able to be a dominant player, but Clappe under real pressure at the Carlton end of the ground slots it in.
Well, Carlton lead by 8 points, and we've got 6 minutes left, and Porter has been very good at those centre bounces. Clappe gathers. Stevens his opponent. Back it goes to Costa. Now to Smart. Wider still to Rasciuto. Forced to kick quickly and unproductively. Swooping on it is Koutafidis. Short to Bradley. The momentum has certainly swung in the Blues' favour. Bradley could go to Hume. Bit risky, but he looks as though he's going to put it in the square.
Yeah, he's buying time here, Robbo.
He's gone in short, and Silvani's got it. Gee, that was just enough to cover the player short and be short enough for the player at the back, if you can understand what I'm talking about. It does sound like
exactly
double
what you mean.
but it was just a perfect kick, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Centimetre perfect.
Because what you need to be able to give, you need to be able to give a forward a chance to run on the ball. And as Dennis rightfully pointed out previously, that Silvani loves to be able to dive that last couple of metres.
He goes for goal, Stephen Silvani, misses to the right, scores a behind, but Bassett was right with him, and he just couldn't quite get the left fist to it. Malcolm Blight and his coaching staff, nothing much he can do now. He just has to rely on the players in the heat of the moment. 5 minutes left. They trail by 9 points, do the Crows.
Could be fielding a few questions about his use of Sean Wren. Kicks it towards the outer side. Tregenza read it off hands, kicks it through the middle. Hitting the ball hard is Connell. Hurried kick, favours Sampson. Awkward bounce, gave it away with the slap straight to Dean. Dean a little chip back in the opposite direction. Locke was there. Was he interfered with? Not according to the umpire. Tregenza to Wren. Goes down towards Jarman. Jarman battles one out with Manton. Manton, better recovery. Paddles it towards the boundary line and takes it all the way.
He'd be a game umpire then, wouldn't he? John, to penalise him for knocking it out on
Certainly
purpose.
would be.
As long as
He
he's
would have
getting
to-
his goal away, that's the critical stage.
That's right, Terry.
10-12, 9-9, tossed in inside the 50. Wren slaps it down, knocked out of there by Hamill. Over the ball is Hogg, slipped over. Sampson is there confronting him. Rice slides in and gets it across the line, and that will do the Blues. 4:25 remaining in the game. And against the odds, certainly the first half odds, Carlton lead by 9 points.
Yes, low scoring by modern AFL standards is this game, but certainly it's been a terrific struggle by both teams. Sexton wide, did look for Bradley, and Bradley maybe not hot enough at that. That should be nearly a free kick, shouldn't it?
Not paid.
Whitnell's tackle on Costa was good. Umpire says to throw it in on centre wing.
Well, it was a mark, wasn't it?
Well, you would have thought that Bradley could have nearly been paid, but tackle by Whitnell on Costa.
It would be tough
Anyway.
to ping him for holding the ball there.
Fair enough, John. The ball thrown in and the umpire decides on a bounce. So all the time, while the clock is ticking over, down to 4 minutes now, it is possible for Adelaide to kick 2 goals and snatch this game, but the momentum certainly is with Carlton. Pittman knocks it clear, but only as far there as Camporelli. The ball at half forward. And Whitnell on Costa again, surely!
Yes.
If you keep going, Lance Whitnell, you're going to get a free kick. He did it twice within a minute, and he's been rewarded on this occasion with the free kick. Not big stats by Whitnell. 6 kicks, 11 hand passes. He's kicked a goal, but his work ethic has been terrific. In towards full forward. Silvani's got it.
Not paid.
Not paid.
He was
It's in
tackled.
underneath. You should be penalised for holding it then.
He was tackled in mid-air, Silvani.
Yeah, if the opponents attempt to spoil the player rather than the ball. Now, there he's dragged down by the body, but I don't know. It's league footy, and the trend is not to pay the soft ones, and many would argue that would have been a bit soft.
Well, it's still at half forward for Carlton. Not for much longer. It's kicked away back towards the middle of the ground. Marking contest. Good performance by McKay. Sexton takes the hand pass, receiving from Locke. Out wide it is Manton. Well, Glenn Manton could turn himself into a real hero. He hasn't gone for the goals. He's kicked it to Silvani. He's had a fair bit of the footy, and he's gone back to give it to Bradley. And once again, Stephen, I think, prepared to relinquish his chance at goal to give the captain the opportunity maybe to kick from about 40 metres out.
Gee, Robbo, a lot of these players that have had interrupted pre-seasons and not many games under their belt, they're really struggling now.
Well, it certainly is a pressure cooker situation. A game of AFL football, whether it be round 1 or round 22, as Bradley goes for goal and hits the post. 1 goal, 1 to Craig Bradley. We're down now to 2 minutes, and it is 10 points the advantage in favour of Carlton, and the fans are pretty excited here at Optus Oval.
Bassett kicks in, finds Ellen. Silvani certainly has become a very important target in this final term. 4 marks, 5 possessions. Rice, with great courage, standing his ground, takes the mark, and a cork on the wing. Goes in short. Hume pops it over to Ratton. The Crows very ragged now. Ratton goes for home. Long kick, Silvani up too early. Could have been a free kick to Bassett close to the boundary line. He escorts it across, looks back quizzically at the umpire.
Yeah, it was an unrealistic attempt to mark, so I'd agree with that, Dennis.
Then again, Stephen takes some unrealistic marks, doesn't he, from time to time? It's tossed in. Pittman slaps it down. Bickley. This has been a very disappointing loss by the Crows. They've gone silently into the afternoon. Whitnell gets it away. Camporelli in trouble, feeds it back. This is Dean, comes to the middle, and Hume has it about 60 metres from goal. It's all over. 10-13, 9-9. Hume goes for distance. It hangs in the air. Ellen was up, fisting towards the boundary. Silvani goes after Bickley. Bickley knocks it towards the boundary. He's going to get a free kick.
Signal given was for a push, and from here it certainly looked as though there was a tackle rather than a push.
The kick goes very wide and finds Allen. Allen can go down the ground, but there's not enough time left for the Crows to kick 2 goals. We're down under a minute now. The ball is with Caven. He's probably 2 kicks from goal. He puts it to within a scoring shot, and back goes Sexton. He has stood up manfully, Michael Sexton.
The Crows, they've just kicked the 2 goals since half-time. They've just really capitulated away in terms of their forward line structure and what they had to be able to deliver the ball to.
Caven marked the Sexton kick. Away to Allen, a little too high. Koutafidis, Whitnell, still composed, and he finds Hamill. Hamill on centre wing, kicks it low in the area there of Bradley, beaten for on this occasion by Costa. Kick across his body, gathered by Allen. Allen gives away the hand pass to Connell. Connell's kick will land at centre half forward. In front was Dean, and he's been free kicked. The advantage is with the Blues. McKay has the footy as the siren ends this game. And a very good win to the Blues. Glenn Manton, a goal kicker in the last quarter. Darren Jarman, we think, has been reported. Koutafidis, 3 goals for the Blues. And Carlton run out a 10-point winner in this game between the Blues and the Crows. Adelaide, in their quest for back-to-back flags, go down in round 1 of season 1998. The Blues 10-13-73. Defeat Adelaide 9-9-63.
Oh, that's a great win. And all sorts of trouble in the first half. And they fought back to win this one. Here's Craig Bradley talking with Neil Curley.
Well, Craig, at one stage there, it looked like I may have been beyond you, but fantastic fight back.
Yeah, the Crows got a great start, and you just can't give a premiership side 4 goals head start, but half time we knew we had as many tackles, and Parko goes by his stats, and our tackles are up, and we had plenty of the ball. We just weren't, we weren't using it, but we kept at it, and we got over the line.
Coach was a little bit angry at quarter time.
I think we're all a little bit angry at quarter time. We're pretty pumped up for the game. It's a shocking start, but it takes character to come back like that, and it was a great effort.
How do you reckon the Blues lifted their intensity?
I think we were intense all the game. We just weren't finishing, and we were stuffing up with the ball, and we're always intense, but we just weren't using it. So,
well done, your first one as captain. All the best. Back to you, Dennis.
Good on your Curls, at the margin 10 points. And I'd have to say unexpected, certainly on what we saw early, but they kept coming. And as Craig said, their work rate didn't deviate all that much. 10-13, 9-9. Adelaide go under in round 1.